I wanted to do it as fast as possible. I had a timeline in my head, and obviously that timeline gets extended. But whatever it was, I wanted to really try and just acquire as much as I possibly could. So I did a lot of research on best ways to try to learn and so on. I started off by just needing to know words. So just the 1,000 most common words, they make up the bulk of a language, as I'm sure you absolutely know. So started to learn them, but obviously, there's lots of conjugations in Spanish. The grammar wasn't there basically, but I got to a point where it was 600 words, 700 words. At that point, I started to I had the advice that I needed to speak as soon as possible. So it was just once a week, and I would just try and spit out whatever words I kind of could to a tutor online. Not a professional tutor, just a native on the app italki. And it got to a point where I was learning so many words, and I had consumed the grammar book. I'd gone through it, learning what, their pronouns were and so on. And I was getting frustrated because I knew the words and I knew the grammar, and I couldn't put them together. Like when you know 1,000 words or something, and you're like, it's frustrating. And I think a lot of people, I don't know the word for it, but they get too involved in the grammar, thinking that I'm just going to destroy this grammar book, and then once I know all of the rules, I'm going to be able to use them whenever. And it's just not the case. It is just sheer exposure to converting those rules in your head to know what they mean. So basically, I was speaking to a tutor once a week. I'd learned a lot of words, and I got recommended to read. And I was like, okay, great. Let's have a look at some children's books. And it turns out the children's books actually have some pretty hard grammar in there. Yeah. And I was looking, and I was like, I need something. And then I saw one of your books, and I was like, wow, this looks like what I need. It seems like it's going to bridge a gap from sort of A1, A2 to B1. So I bought the book on Amazon, and I was amazed at the fact that you can understand it. Initially, obviously, it's hard, but you're seeing all of these words that you're seeing all the different conjugations of ser and estar and tener, haber, all of these different versions. And now you're getting the opportunity to start breaking them down. And it might take you 10 minutes to read a chapter initially, but then you're getting these super interesting stories, and you really feel like you're making progress. So I feel like reading, and specifically your books, was something that allowed me to combine all of the effort that I'd put in before. And obviously reading is enjoyable. It's fun. It's a lot more fun than me looking in a Collins grammar book, really scrutinizing over whether it's masculine or feminine,